completely rebrand your YouTube channel, grow fast, and finally monetize before the year is up, this video is going to be your step-by-step plan to become what I like to say unrecognizable within the next 12 weeks in your business. Because the truth is, most new creators, at least I found, they never even give themselves the chance to completely transform their lives because of YouTube, just because of how they started it initially in the first place. When I first got started, I was completely overwhelmed. We've got camera gear, we've got lighting, editing, thumbnail, scripting, posting schedules, and then there's the algorithm whispering to you, post more, people didn't like your thumbnail, people clicked away after 10 seconds of your video. Start thinking these thoughts, oh, I must not be cut out for this. Oh, I am actually an introvert. You know, I'm awkward, I'm a fraud. It is truly like staring into the abyss of your soul. So what do we start doing? We protect ourselves. We set what I call realistic goals, but that mindset is exactly what is keeping you stuck. So today we're really gonna dive into the strategies that can take you from someone that is struggling to post on YouTube, struggling to make money, you're just maybe relying on AdSense or you're waiting for your next brand deal, to someone that makes consistent multi-six figures and even seven figures on YouTube in any different niche. But if you guys are new here, my name is Haley and I teach creators how to grow on YouTube without sacrificing your values, your family, or your sanity. My husband and I run a seven-figure business. I work 1 day a week. We homeschool 5 of our kids age 8 and under. It's pure chaos, but basically we've been able to structure our business in a way that allows for us to have so much life lived with our family. So the first step in becoming unrecognizable on YouTube is something that I learned through blood, sweat, and tears. I've already mentioned this, but it is basically to set unrealistic goals. So the reason why you're setting goals like, I just want to be monetized on AdSense finally, or I just want to get my first brand deal, I just want to make $1,000 a month, is because you are afraid that if you fail, you're going to let yourself down in a massive way. And it also seems ridiculous for you to say, I want to make 6 figures within the next 12 months because you've never done that. Who are you to say that? And you don't even know how to do it, right? And you also have all this baggage, all this limiting belief that you're awkward on camera, all this stuff I already mentioned. From day one, you start your business in a place of scarcity. And the way that you're putting together a strategy for growing your business is going to inevitably lead to self-sabotage in the fact that you're going to pick the wrong income streams because they feel safe. You're going to choose the wrong topics because you're scarce. You're just hopping on trends and you're not building a business that aligns with your values and also with the biggest pain in your life. I read a book a long time ago. I've mentioned it on this channel and I talked about my journey in becoming a 7-figure content creator, which took me nearly a decade to figure out. And it's a quote by Tony Robbins, love him or hate him, but he says, people are more motivated by avoiding pain than they are seeking pleasure. So you have to ask yourself if that is the case, and I've definitely seen that be the case for me, what is the pain you're trying to escape? So in my life, the number one reason why I went from 0 to way past 6 figures under 2 years on YouTube was because, and I talked about this in my last video, I did not want to have to put my brand new baby in daycare to basically help pay the bills, to help pay off my college student loan debt. So I would scratch and claw my way to making money on YouTube in a desperate sense. And so I made a lot of mistakes in that regard, but I still had a deep pain. A lot of us live in the lap of luxury. I live in Orange County, California. I can swipe on my phone, get groceries delivered. I have the world at my fingertips living where I do, and I have an iPhone. It's like dopamine hits every second to escape from the pain in your life. And so it's really hard for us to tap into a deep pain unless you're actively going through something. What is it? We all want to be grateful in our life. I'm Christian. I want to try to be as grateful as I can, practice the daily mantras of like, I'm thankful for my husband, I'm thankful for my kids, those affirmations and the reminders that you have a great life and you are blessed by God. If you feel like you're stagnant in your life, it's because you just succumb to the everyday grind and you're not looking to get out of it. So again, what is the pain you're trying to escape? Is it that your husband has a soul-sucking job that you want to help pull him out of? Is it a relative that maybe you could help them? Maybe it's the fact that you don't want to put your child in school. You want to homeschool them like we do, but you have to go to a job. And so you kind of just accepted this is the reality. I would just urge you, while being grateful, to still not accept the painful things in your life as a reality. Because when you do that, from my experience and also helping people online, it is so much easier to quit on yourself, quit on your YouTube channel, and not have these big goals that set you up for future success when it comes to making actual money on YouTube. So I call this this to my students, finding out what your freedom number is. So for me, that was $54,000 within my first year of really pursuing YouTube from a place of pain or running away from pain, which is, like I said, not having to put my baby in daycare when I had her unexpectedly. I did a whole video on that. And so my freedom number was I just had to make $54,000 a year, basically replace my income. And when I knew that I had to do this and I was focused on the pain, and for me, it was real pain. No shade. I say that in every video, but that was what really kicked off me building this snowball that now leads to this 7-figure business, is focusing on the pain and how can I make this money through YouTube, and then developing a strategy that links the business strategy to this painful or freedom number. So mine was $54,000 a year. What is yours, and why do you need to make that type of money? Once you know it, everything about your channel strategy changes from day one. That leads me to step 2, and this is based off of a book called, I think it's called The 12-Week Something. I'll put it on the screen. I'll link it down below. But basically, it has a whole bunch of statistics and psychology that goes into why making a huge goal and spreading it out till forever, whenever you're able to hit the goal, is the worst thing you could ever do, because you will just taper off, and statistically, you can accomplish that in 12 weeks. If it's past 12 weeks, it's very difficult. I've found for me, I fail when my goals are so far away. I'll say to myself, I'll grow by the end of the year. It basically tells your brain, well, you can start in November. You have time, right? 12 weeks fixes that. It's short enough to feel urgent, but long enough to feel real results. It forces focus. It forces clarity. You cannot waste 3 weeks overthinking your niche. I've done that. Plus, 12 weeks is the sweet spot for YouTube. That's usually how long it takes the algorithm to notice consistency. And so for the next 12 weeks, treat your channel like a sprint. One niche, one goal, one product, everything else is noise, and that is where you start. So the third step is basically what I base my entire business channel on, the channel that you're watching right now, and that is pick an income stream that scales. The number one mistake that I ever made in burning down and rebuilding my business for the last decade is that I was pursuing income streams that did not align with my values. So the first goal I had was to replace my income, and I literally attacked like an animal, UGC content. So that's user generated content. Basically, I would hold up a cup, like a cup that you would find on Etsy. Imagine my monograms on it. I would say, hey, this monogram cup is great. It stays cold all the time and you should buy it, right? That's like a typical sponsored ad. But instead, I would take pictures drinking the monogrammed cup, and I would take videos pouring water into the monogrammed cup. And then I would sell the rights to my digital assets in video and photo form, obviously, to the Etsy shop owner. They would use it for their Etsy listings for marketing materials, and I get paid like $1,000. So that was the first income stream that broke me free into becoming an entrepreneur, but it was impossible to scale without building out a whole team. Basically, obviously, what I'm alluding to is it went against my values, right? I didn't want to build a team of 20 people taking photos and managing them like a main photography business, because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be the Christian housewife, which is laughable. I am those things, but I have this big business I run for my husband at home, and it took a different turn. But I still wanted to be the primary caretaker of my kids, and I couldn't do that with that income stream. Remember, pick an income stream that scales. And also, I forgot to mention, that also aligns with your values. So that was the first one I went after. And I closed it down, even though I made a lot of money from it, because it was like pulling teeth, getting me to create the content and also be this present mom to my new baby. So then when I had my second baby girl, I went after another income stream, which was sponsorships and also combined with YouTube AdSense. So what is wrong with that one? Nothing. It's amazing. But the way that I treat those income streams now is like a cherry on top. It's like fun money. I honestly use that money to fuel like a Roth IRA or mutual funds, things like that. So it's definitely not money that I use to feed my kids with a grocery budget or anything like that, because again, it goes against my values. So why do relying, not actually having the income stream, but relying on sponsors and AdSense, why do they go against my specific values? Well, for me, I want to be a present mother and wife. The only way to scale those income streams streams is to get more views and do more work away from my kids, most likely. And so while yes, I have ads, I mean, you have to have ads turned on your videos nowadays anyways, but I take the AdSense check and I do sponsorships sparingly here and there. It's not something I am going to live off of like I did for 2.5 years, because it means I have to spend more time away from my kids negotiating with brands, pitching brands, having these onboarding calls with the team that is Huggies or Clinique, brands that I used to work with on Etsy. And they are very lucrative, but I would have to put my kids in daycare or school. And that again is not something I want to do. So most creators I find, myself included, this is what happened. This person just put hashtag ad on their Instagram reel, and they're also in the same reel or in the next one carrying a Louis Vuitton or whatever, driving a G-Wagon. In your brain, you'll say, well, sponsorships, they obviously pay a lot of money. That's what I'm going to do. But those income streams demand virality, like I said, and virality demands time that most of us who have a values-driven life don't want to give. AdSense is even more so because you have to post more, you have to get better, you have to pour more effort into your videos to get paid because it's based off of views. And so for me, after this brutal discovery of which income stream reflective of my values, and that idea in and of itself only came through blood, sweat, and tears, doing sponsors with little kids, working with my husband on this full time, I had to come up with it myself and try and fail and try and fail and test products and test different income streams, right? I even tried a physical product. It was a mess. And so I've gone through a lot, and the only scalable model for me as a homeschool mom of now 5 kids is a combination of digital products. So this is not going to be ebooks. I don't sell those anymore. Nothing's wrong with them. Those are hard to scale. Again, it's the same type of situation, and I crossed everything off the list I can to build a business that scales while I can be a present mom. So that is literally courses, coaching, things like that, something that I own, digital assets, it's what I call them. When you do it my way, I can now work during nap time and still earn a 7-figure income where we work as a family, and my husband does this with me. We work part-time hours. And so now I can scale horizontally. So what that looks like is, and I've done a whole video on this, I'll link it up here and down below, but I can scale with new offers. They all build upon themselves. Or vertically, it's basically I serve the same people over and over again when they re-up on a month-to-month basis. So that's how you would want to think of your business. If you want to go from making no money to a lot of money, it's like, well, what is the income stream that I can scale based off of my values and my painful freedom number, right? And how can I build a product ladder in a way that ascends people? Now that is a mouthful. You just have to start with one product. Ideally, it's going to be a digital product, and what I think is a course with a coaching community attached to it. So I'm kind of referring to building out a product ladder. That's how we've been able to go from 0 to 7 figures in under 18 months, is I went all in on this one income stream. I didn't look at AdSense. In fact, it doesn't matter. I don't want to make my money in that way. I don't need to go viral, get a ton of views to make 7 figures anymore. I don't look at that. I really don't look at sponsors unless it's something that I actively promote and use in my daily life to friends or students. I focus all my effort on this one income stream and growing out my product ladder, adding one thing or one rung to the ladder every single year, which scales my business through word of mouth. And yes, I still need to get some amount of views, but most of it is word of mouth. And so it is the reason why our business has crossed 7 figures without a single viral hit. I mean, I've gone viral, but it's not because of those videos that have really grown. A couple of viral videos are not going to necessarily make you 7 figures. It's all the stuff I'm talking about. So if you guys find that sponsorships, they're like a hamster wheel, you get a sponsor, you put it out, you get paid like $4,000 like I was on my main channel, and then there's none and you're waiting for them or you're pitching them, and it's like you're in this cycle of not scaling but barely making ends meet. Digital products are almost like an escalator or whatever you want to call it. It's a bad analogy, but you basically are able to scale your business without giving more of your time. Where do you even start? I just talked about so many things like a product ladder, ascending people, starting with the digital course, potentially adding coaching. If you've never done any of these things before and you're like, well, I'm not that good at any one given thing, who am I? And so step 4 is to make it very simple for you, solve one problem in a novel way. So now that you know how you'll make money and how to become unrecognizable, which is basically a term for me, which is like turn this thing into a real freaking business so that my life can become unrecognizable, obviously. Let's talk about how to actually get people to care about you, because I think the whole reason a lot of you guys clicked on this video is because you're like, well, I can't even get views in the first place. I need a view that isn't my mom or grandma. So you don't need a new camera. You do not need a new concept. And you honestly don't necessarily even need a new niche, although I've done a ton of videos on how to niche stack to go viral. I have a lot of other growth videos you guys can watch. I'll link them down below. To make it simple, I'm going to have you guys ask yourself this question. What is the one problem my ideal viewer would pay to have solved? Then what you're going to do, the second step here, is you're going to solve it differently than anyone else in your market. So for example, one of my students, Courtney from Courtney Grows Food, she was doing gardening. She was doing videos on how to plant vegetables, how to grow strawberries. We helped her go viral with that one. It's hard to sell a transformation, which is what really scales your business, instead of how to just grow food. You have to sell a transformation and sell something in a novel or new way and package it in a way that no one's considered it before. So she didn't just start another gardening channel. She built a system around 25 powerful crops that feed your family on minimal land. So she does like a backyard garden situation and feeds her family, not 100% sustainable. And that's where a lot of people would come and be like, well, I'm not 100% living off my land. You don't have to be, because most people aren't. You sell people by all of the things that you aren't. That looks like, I don't have a giant team. I have 4 employees and I work with my husband. We work 1 day a week on part-time hours and I homeschool my kids. If you want to learn from me how to build giant masterminds where you all go on a vacation to Mexico together, then I am not your person. If you want to learn how to scale to $1 million months, I don't want that. I'm not your person. So when you just boldly proclaim what you are and what you aren't, who you're for, who you can help and who you cannot help, it not only builds trust and authority, but it's genius. And you stay in your lane and you convert more people that way. Another example of this is Meryl DeMilo. So she helps Christian families find financial freedom through scripture. And so she's not basically just teaching budgeting and spreadsheets and the Dave Ramsey typical method. She's teaching through redemption, right? So 2 totally different audiences. It's the niche stacking that I talked about in the video I already referenced, how to basically blend 2 niches. But there's a shared commonality that I see between Meryl, between Courtney Grows Food, and all of the students that we work with that make a lot of money relatively fast and literally become unrecognizable. And it's not necessarily switching niches or launching a course in and of itself. It's solving one specific pain deeply and not 10 superficially. And so that is how you build a loyal audience that actually trusts you, that actually buys from you. You boldly proclaim who you're for and who you help and who you do not help. And you create a product that is perfect for someone that is just like you. So the 5th step is to actually sell your own product. The scariest part for a lot of creators is selling. I get comments all the time, I don't want to sell to my audience. And I'm like, well, you're selling through sponsorships. I found personally that when I went the sponsorship route versus selling my own products, I built a way more loyal following that trusts me when I sold the stuff that comes from my brain, that is my own products, versus being the shill fest, which is what I was before, Amazon affiliate links or reward style, or basically selling anything that came my way that I did not own, because it looks disingenuous. There's no way someone would like all of those products. I follow influencers. I love buying through their links. There's nothing wrong with doing any of that. But if the reason why you're not wanting to sell your own product is because you don't want to be a sellout, you're more of a sellout if you just literally sell other people's products because it looks disingenuous. You have to, at the end of the day, you're going to want to sell something that you own. So when I finally stopped relying on sponsors and just started selling my own digital products, everything in my life changed. I wasn't chasing brand deals anymore. I was serving real people. I was giving real transformations to people. And I also noticed that YouTube noticed, because watch time isn't just about fancy edits. It's about emotional connection to people. So when you're teaching from experience on one core thing that you have expertise in, your energy starts to change on camera and your audience starts to feel it. You're not just hopping on trends for the sake of going viral like I was. I was at the time so desperate to get sponsorships and to get views to literally pay the bills for my family that I was going to do any video under the sun because I was fearful, I was scarce, and I was literally just scared. And your audience becomes disjointed. They trust you less just because of how the influencer ecosystem, or whatever you want to call it, is set up. It is set up to disjoint your audience because you're taking on so many new brand deals and you're trying to just go viral to make money in AdSense. So the goal for the first 12 weeks is literally just to make your first sale from your own product so that you can just stop feeling like a YouTuber and start feeling like a legit entrepreneur. So the sixth step is to basically force yourself to laser focus for the first 12 weeks. Now, this is the hardest part for me. If you guys are an audience member that came from my previous channel, I have done everything under the sun. I've done make money online as a niche. I've done parenting, motherhood. So staying laser focused for 10 years on YouTube is so hard, but let alone 12 weeks, because you get in your own head. So you really want to force yourself, maybe write on a piece of paper, paste it to your computer, your fridge, whatever you look at all the time, your mirror. No switching niches, no rebranding every time your video does not blow up, no having mental crises, no, okay, I think I'll do Instagram instead. Because if you give YouTube 12 consistent weeks of direction, it will mirror that clarity back to you 100-fold. So you got to think of it like fitness, all right? No one gets abs after one workout, but 12 weeks of showing up, you're a completely different person. Your thumbnails improve, your delivery sharpens, your confidence on camera skyrockets, and by week 12, you'll watch your old videos and cringe in the best way because you won't even recognize that version of yourself anymore. So if you're serious about becoming unrecognizable by building a legit business on YouTube in 12 weeks, want more of a step-by-step checklist and a path, I will link below my free masterclass. It is long, so get like a coffee because I think it's an hour and a half or maybe more because that's just how I do. And you will see exactly what it's like to build a multi-six-figure YouTube brand versus doing something that maybe will give you more of your time back, that aligns more with your values, potentially if you're like a busy mom like me, and you'll see where the time is spent, the possibilities for the income streams, and also proof that it helps for other people. So I'll link that down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.